Let me tell you something most men don't realize. Women don't forget every man. They forget the flashy ones, the ones who bought dinners, even the ones who looked good in pictures. But the ones they never forget, they did 5 very specific things. And once a woman experiences that, she compares every man after to him. Think about this. In a country where women get attention all day long, from Instagram likes to random guys at Starbucks, most of it blends together. Compliments fade, dates blur, and names get lost. But when a man does something that cuts deeper than surface level attraction, he leaves a mark she can't erase. That's why in this video, I'm not giving you the same old dating cliches. I'm giving you the real psychology, what women actually admit when they're talking to their closest friends, the things they don't say out loud. These are the 5 things women never forget. 1, she never forgets the man who makes her feel safe. Let's start with this. A woman will always remember how you made her feel. You can buy her gifts, say all the right things, even take her to fancy places. But if she doesn't feel safe with you, none of it matters. Safety is the foundation, and I don't just mean walking her to her car at night or standing up for her if someone disrespects her. That matters, of course, but the kind of safety that stays in her memory runs much deeper. It's emotional, it's mental, it's spiritual even. Think of it this way. A lot of women in America grow up in environments where they've learned to always be on guard. Maybe she's dealt with toxic relationships. Maybe she's been judged or shamed for being vulnerable. Maybe she's carried stress from family, school, or work. She's been trained to protect herself. And then one day she meets a man who doesn't make her feel judged. He doesn't throw her feelings back in her face. He doesn't use her weakest moment against her later. Instead, he holds space for her, and in that moment she feels something rare, relief. Let me give you an example. Imagine she's had one of those weeks where everything is falling apart. Her boss yelled at her, her best friend let her down, and she's doubting herself. She sits next to you, eyes heavy, and tells you something raw. Most men, they'll dismiss her with, "You're overreacting." Or worse, they'll try to fix everything in one sentence. But the man she never forgets doesn't do that. He looks at her with calm eyes and says, "I've got you. You're not carrying this alone." And just like that, her guard drops. That's the memory she carries. Because here's the truth. Women may forget your words, but they never forget how their chest felt lighter when you were around. They don't forget the man who made their anxiety fade, who gave them peace just by being steady. And once she's felt it, she compares every man after you to that standard. This isn't about acting like her therapist or trying to be perfect. It's about showing her through small, consistent actions that she can trust you with her vulnerability. You keep your word. You don't mock her fears. You don't storm off when things get hard. In her mind, safety equals value, and it's rare. That's why she doesn't forget it. Because while attraction fades and excitement burns out, the man who made her feel safe remains unforgettable. 2, she never forgets the man who truly listens. Most men underestimate listening. They think nodding their head or waiting for their turn to talk is enough. But women know the difference between a man who's present and a man who's just pretending. And trust me, the man who really listens, he's the one she never forgets. In today's culture, everyone's distracted. Phones buzzing, notifications popping, people half in the conversation and half somewhere else. That's why when she meets a man who actually gives her his full attention, it hits differently. Picture this. She's sitting across from you in a cafe telling you about her day. Maybe it's small stuff, how her coworker annoyed her, or how she got stuck in traffic. Most guys glaze over. Their eyes drift, they check their phone, they're already planning what they'll say next. But the man who's unforgettable, he leans in. He asks small questions that show he's actually following. He remembers details and brings them back later. Let me give you an example. Say she tells you her little brother has a baseball game this weekend. Weeks later, you ask her, "Hey, how'd your brother's game go?" You'd be surprised how powerful that is, because here's the truth. Most people don't remember, but you did. And now she feels seen. Listening isn't about solving her problems. Sometimes she just wants to let it out. And if you interrupt her with solutions, or worse, dismiss what she says, you kill the moment. What keeps her connected is when you let her finish, when you reflect back, "I hear you," or even just nod in the right way. That tells her she matters. And here's the secret, like when a woman feels listened to, she opens up more. She trusts you more. She connects with you on a deeper level. That memory lingers because it's rare. Even years later, she'll look back and think, he was the only one who really listened to me. Think about how powerful that is. Out of all the men she meets, out of all the conversations that blur together, she remembers you. Not because you said the perfect line, but because you gave her something almost no one gives, your presence. 3, she never forgets the man who protects her peace. Peace is underrated, but ask any woman and she'll tell you her peace is priceless. And the man who protects it, he stays in her memory. Here's the thing, life in America can be chaotic. Work stress, family drama, bills, deadlines, it adds up. The last thing she wants is a man who makes her life harder. But sadly, that's what most men do. They bring arguments, jealousy, and games into the mix. They add to her stress instead of taking it away. Now picture the opposite, a man who doesn't escalate every argument, a man who knows how to stay calm when she's venting, a man who doesn't drag her into drama with his ex or his friends. That's unforgettable because it's rare. For example, imagine she's venting about her boss being unfair. Most guys would either dismiss it, just quit, or they'd add fuel. Yeah, your boss sounds terrible. But the man she remembers listens, validates, and helps her calm down. He doesn't bring chaos. He protects her space. Protecting her peace doesn't mean avoiding conflict or being a pushover. It means you know how to set boundaries, how to say no to unnecessary drama, and how to keep your composure. That's attractive because it shows discipline. Later, if she's with another man who raises her stress, who always argues, who can't control himself, she'll think back to you. She'll say to herself, it wasn't like this with him. With him, I felt calm. And that comparison will haunt her. The truth is, women crave men who bring peace more than men who bring thrills, because peace is rare, and the man who gives it, he's unforgettable. 4, she never forgets the man who challenges her. This one might surprise you, but women don't forget the man who challenges them. Most men go the easy route. They agree with everything she says. They avoid conflict. They bend over backward just to keep her happy. At first, she might like it, but over time, she loses respect. She sees him as easy to control and forgettable. But the man who challenges her, respectfully but firmly, he's the one who stands out. He's not rude, he's not trying to start fights, but he doesn't let her walk all over him. He has standards and he holds her accountable. Let me give you an example. Say she's always late. Most guys stay quiet, smile, and pretend it's fine. But the man who says calmly, look, I value my time too, stands out. She might roll her eyes in the moment, she might even argue. But later, she respects it because deep down, women admire strength. The unforgettable man isn't afraid to push her to grow. If she's playing games, he doesn't entertain them. If she's selling herself short, he calls it out. And that memory stays because he wasn't just another yes man. Even years later, when she's dating someone who agrees with everything, she'll remember you. She'll think, he challenged me. He made me better. That's powerful. 5, she never forgets the man who makes her feel desired. This one is the most emotional. Women hear compliments every day. You're hot, you're cute, you're gorgeous. It becomes background noise. But the man who makes her feel desired, she never forgets him. And let me be clear, desire is not about desperation. It's not bombarding her with shallow compliments or being thirsty. It's about presence. It's about the way you look at her like she's the only one in the room. The way you touch her with confidence, not neediness. The way you show you want her but you don't need her. Think about this. She walks into a bar. Every guy looks at her, but the one she remembers is the man who doesn't just look at her body, but sees her. He makes her feel feminine, beautiful, wanted. That kind of energy is magnetic. And here's the truth. Women forget words, but they don't forget how desire felt in their body. She'll remember the man who made her knees weak with just a glance. She'll remember the one who made her feel chosen, not just noticed. Even if she moves on, even if she marries someone else, that memory lingers. Because once a woman has felt true, confident desire, every other man gets measured against it, and most fall short. That's why making her feel desired, not with desperation, but with presence and confidence, is one of the most unforgettable things a man can do. So here's the truth. Women don't forget the man who gave them safety, who really listened, who protected their peace, who challenged them, and who made them feel deeply desired. These things go deeper than looks, money, or charm, because looks fade, excitement burns out. But the way you made her feel, that's what stays with her for years. Don't aim to impress. Aim to become the man whose presence feels like peace, strength, and desire all in one, because that's the man she never forgets.